pregnant teen thrown into mental hospital by parents. 44 years later she gets her revenge. Her parents put her in the mental hospital so they could abort the child. The baby survived, but her parents were adamant, and what they did next was horrifying. Julie Mannix von Zerneck was placed in a hospital for the mentally disturbed and criminally insane when she was only 19 years old, but she was neither disturbed nor insane. She was placed in the hospital because she was pregnant. Julie was dating a man named Frank, and soon after finding out she was pregnant, she also found out that Frank was married. When her parents found out, they tried to force her to get an abortion. In 1963, abortions were illegal, so the only way that a woman could have an abortion was if the mother's physical or mental health was threatened by having a baby. When Julie's gynecologist told her mother that she was pregnant, she didn't tell Julie. Instead, she told the doctor that she needed to diagnose her daughter as being severely depressed. Julie actually believed what her mother had told her. Julie's mother was worried about what her pregnancy would do to the family's reputation. Julie says that in her family circle in Philadelphia society, if you had mood swings, went into romantic depressions, or if you tried to commit self-harm, you were considered charmingly eccentric. Giving birth to a child born out of wedlock, on the other hand, was absolutely unforgivable. Julie refused to have an abortion and she was taken to a mental hospital. She actually believed that she belonged there because of what her mother and doctor told her. She gave birth in the hospital and was then forced to sign adoption papers giving up her daughter, who she named Amy Veronica. Julie says that back then there were homes for unwed mothers, but her parents chose the mental hospital to punish her. She didn't want to sign her daughter over for adoption, but she felt that she didn't have any choice. The day after she gave birth, she was released from the mental hospital. When Julie arrived home, her parents were throwing a dinner party. They told everyone at the party that their daughter had been in Africa. Nobody at the party knew where she had actually been, and her parents were trying to keep that a secret. They didn't even tell their daughter about the lie they've been telling others. She was completely caught off guard when people started asking her how her trip to Africa was and what she did there. How could they tell their friends that they threw their daughter into an awful mental hospital just because she was pregnant? It was a heartless, horrible thing to do, and they wouldn't want people to look at them in that way. When Julie was released from the hospital, Frank got a divorce and he and Julie got married in 1965. She moved to New York City to become an actress, and each year on April 19, the couple celebrated Amy's birthday. They also had their wedding rings inscribed with the date of their daughter's birth. They never forgot about her. When Amy was adopted, her adoptive parents changed her name to Kathleen Marie Wiesler. When she had a couple of children of her own, she decided that she wanted to seek out her birth mother. When she finally found them, she wrote Julie and Frank a letter. Julie and Frank were baffled and overjoyed when they heard from their daughter. They were so happy when she reached out. Julie got her revenge on her parents by finally meeting her daughter and getting to know her. First they wrote back to Kathleen, next they set up a meeting on Skype. Thanks to technology they were able to get to know their daughter pretty well, even though they lived on opposite sides of the country. After a few Skype chats, Kathleen wrote a letter to her parents to let them know how she felt about having them back in her life. In the letter, she wrote, "I never imagined I would feel like a daughter again, and yet here I'm cherished by two strong and thoughtful parents who worry when my kids are sick and who call for no reason. I feel as though we have never been apart. It's as if we've been dropped into the concluding chapter of a fairy tale."